The most important news of the day. Liverpool are in turmoil, and one of the biggest stories in world football is sending shockwaves through the sport. Arne Slot, the man who was once celebrated as the perfect successor to Jurgen Klopp, now finds himself at the center of a dramatic collapse that nobody saw coming. A coach who arrived at Anfield as a hero is suddenly facing questions about everything. What happened? How did a manager who appeared to have Liverpool moving smoothly into a new era become the focus of such intense scrutiny? Today, we take a closer look at one of the most astonishing football stories imaginable and the chain of events that could turn a title-winning dream into a nightmare. When Arne Slot first arrived at Liverpool, expectations were enormous. Replacing Jurgen Klopp was never going to be easy. Klopp wasn't just a manager. He was an icon. He transformed Liverpool into champions of England, champions of Europe, and one of the most feared teams in world football. Many supporters wondered whether anyone could possibly follow him, but Slot surprised everyone. Instead of trying to copy Klopp's style, he introduced his own ideas. The football became more controlled. Liverpool looked calmer. They looked organized. They looked efficient. Most importantly, they looked like winners. According to the scenario described in the article, Liverpool stormed to the Premier League title in Slot's first season. Critics who doubted him were suddenly silenced. Supporters who feared the post-Klopp era began to believe again, and that's what makes this story so shocking. Because success was supposed to be the beginning. Instead, it became the peak. A few hours after celebrations ended, difficult questions began to emerge. Was Liverpool's success truly Slot's achievement, or was he simply benefiting from the squad Klopp had already built? It's a debate that has divided football fans. The reality is probably somewhere in the middle. Slot inherited world-class players. He inherited Mohamed Salah. He inherited Virgil van Dijk. He inherited Alisson. He inherited a squad filled with experience and quality, but he also made important decisions. Ryan Gravenberch reportedly flourished in a deeper midfield role. Tactical adjustments helped Liverpool become more balanced. The team appeared less chaotic and more disciplined. Those changes mattered. Yet football moves quickly, very quickly. What looks brilliant one season can look completely different the next. And that's exactly where things began to unravel. According to the article, Liverpool entered the following summer with enormous ambition. The club reportedly spent huge amounts of money in the transfer market. The message was clear. Liverpool weren't satisfied with one title. They wanted dominance. They wanted a dynasty. Big names arrived. Expectations exploded. Fans dreamed of another era of success. But football history is full of examples showing that spending money doesn't guarantee victories. Sometimes adding stars creates problems instead of solving them. New players need time. New systems need balance. And expensive signings bring enormous pressure. The article suggests that Liverpool's squad became unbalanced despite massive investment. Instead of strengthening existing foundations, the team reportedly lost its identity. The chemistry that once made Liverpool so dangerous began to disappear. And when results start going wrong at a club like Liverpool, pressure arrives immediately. Every mistake is magnified. Every substitution is questioned. Every interview becomes a headline. Today, football managers live under a microscope. One bad week becomes a crisis. One bad month becomes a disaster. And one bad season can change everything. Another emotional layer in this story involves the difficult moments described around the club. Football is often viewed purely through wins and losses, but clubs are communities. Players, staff, supporters, and families all experience events together. The article describes how celebrations were overshadowed by tragedy and heartbreak. Moments like those can leave lasting emotional scars. They affect dressing rooms. They affect morale. They affect people. And while supporters often focus on tactics and transfers, the human side of football can be just as important. As the season progressed, Liverpool reportedly struggled to find consistency. The confidence that once defined the team began to disappear. Victories became harder to secure. Defeats became more frequent. Questions grew louder. Was the recruitment strategy correct? Were the right players signed? Did Liverpool focus on the wrong priorities? Those questions became impossible to ignore. One of the biggest talking points centered around squad construction. The article argues that Liverpool may have spent enormous sums without solving key problems. That is perhaps the most dangerous situation any football club can face, because spending money creates expectations, and when expectations aren't met, criticism becomes relentless. Supporters want answers. Pundits want answers. Owners want answers. And eventually, managers are forced to answer too. The pressure only increased as senior players came under scrutiny. Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk have been two of the most important figures in Liverpool's modern history. Their contributions cannot be overstated. They helped deliver trophies. They created unforgettable memories. They became legends. But football is unforgiving. Every player eventually faces questions about age, form, and longevity. According to the article, concerns began to emerge regarding whether Liverpool had become too dependent on aging stars. It's a debate that many elite clubs eventually face. How long do you hold on to legendary players? And when is the right time to begin a transition? Get it wrong, and the consequences can be severe. Throughout football history, even the greatest teams have struggled with this challenge. Manchester United faced it after Sir Alex Ferguson. Arsenal faced it after Arsene Wenger's golden generation. Barcelona experienced it after their dominant era. No club escapes the cycle forever, and according to this scenario, Liverpool may have found themselves confronting the same reality. As defeats accumulated, confidence reportedly vanished. The tactical decisions that once looked brilliant suddenly appeared questionable. The substitutions that once changed games no longer worked. Football can be brutal that way. Success creates genius. Failure creates doubt. Sometimes the difference between those two labels is only a handful of results. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of this story is how quickly public perception can change. One year, you're celebrated as a visionary. The next, you're fighting for your reputation. Managers experience this cycle constantly. We've seen it happen to Jose Mourinho. We've seen it happen to Carlo Ancelotti. We've seen it happen to Antonio Conte. We've seen it happen to countless others. Football rarely offers long-term security. Results remain the ultimate currency. And according to the article's scenario, Liverpool eventually reached a point where change became inevitable. The remarkable rise was followed by an equally remarkable fall. A manager who once appeared untouchable suddenly found himself under immense pressure. A project that looked unstoppable suddenly seemed fragile. And a club that dreamed of building a new dynasty instead found itself searching for answers. Whether one agrees with every argument in the article or not, the story highlights an important truth about modern football. Nothing lasts forever. Not success. Not dominance. Not popularity. Every club must constantly evolve. Every manager must adapt. Every player must prove themselves again and again. That's what makes football so compelling. The line between triumph and disappointment is incredibly thin. One season can change everything. One transfer window can reshape a club's future. One decision can define an entire era. And that's why stories like this capture the imagination of football fans around the world. Because they remind us how quickly fortunes can change at the highest level of the sport. What do you think? Could Liverpool really face a dramatic decline after reaching the top? Did Arne Slot deserve more time? Or is ruthless decision-making simply part of modern football? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with fellow football fans. Your support helps us bring you the biggest stories from the world of football every single day.